So, I wanted to talk about how whenever we are manifesting or writing down our desire, whatever that looks like. For some of you, it's like the 369 method, writing it down, 555, whatever. For some of you, it's visualizations, doesn't really matter. I want you to be aware of what happens after you declare it, say it, decide on it. Because everything that happens next, and I guess they call it the bridge of incidents, but you have to be very aware of what you see and hear and what intuitive hits you get, what you be called to do. And some things may not make sense, but it is leading you to the thing that you want, even if it looks like it's almost the opposite. You have to trust, because if you're asking for something you never had, you don't know exactly how to get there. And the way there, like, don't judge it too hard. Just be open to whatever comes next. And it can come super fast. Like when you write it down, within a couple hours, you can get, okay, well, here's step one. And so it's about not judging what comes, but also being aware, because a lot of times it's like you're being guided to do something, but you don't even realize that it's in relation to the thing you asked for. So it can even be as simple as, well, it can be anything, but let's say you ask for something, but then you're being guided to take more naps, and it's like, what? This is the opposite of what I asked for. But maybe your desire is to get in alignment with that desire, or embody that desire, or become the identity of that desire. That person would learn how to rest. They wouldn't be so anxious and always doing. Like, to get you into alignment, you're going to have to change some part of you, I do believe. Yeah, because if you were everything that you needed to be, you would have what you already wanted. So there's going to be changes within you as far as your identity goes, your characteristics go, your traits go, that might need some fine tuning. And it's going to look like, or it's going to show up in ways that you might not be comfortable with, and you might not even be super aware of. But I want you to assume that everything after your declaration is getting you closer to what you want. And even the circumstances that happen to you, I know it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, that same thing. So not only the things that you are guided to do, but the things that happen to you are 100% to get you into alignment with your ideal reality. And a lot of times it is self-work. It's not like it's less times, I think, less miracles. It's not going to be like, oh, I asked for this, that, and the third, and then things just took off and I didn't have to do anything. Like, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something. And it's just that awareness of, what am I being called to do that's a little bit different than what I usually do. And how does that feel? Are you being resistant? Are you being a little bit stubborn? Yes, no, maybe so. Hopefully not. But if you are, that's why you might go back and write it again and write it again and write it again. I always notice that when I do something like the 369 method, or whatever, just write it down. And if I'm writing it down like all day long, my desire usually starts to change. So whatever I write down on the first 1 or 2 days, it starts to tweak itself, and I'm starting to ask for something slightly different. And it's like, well, I notice that I'm changing. My actual desire is shifting and changing because I'm changing. Then eventually I stop writing it because I stop wanting it, or I become a person that feels like, oh no, okay, it's more normalized. Through whatever events happen to me or for me or whatever, I've changed. And I don't know really where I'm going with that, but I would say even sometimes you'll start to realize that your own desire might shift, and be okay with that too, because you start to get clarity or understanding about, like, well, what exactly is it that I want. And you might notice that actually I didn't really want that was my ego speaking. And so there's all these changes that occur within you and your subconscious that start to be revealed when you do write things down. So I do encourage you to try any of the methods. I do encourage you to, I like to write. And so I notice that every time I do it, like I said, things shift and change. And not only in my life and what I've been guided to do, but even in my desire, it shifts and changes, and it becomes more clear or more heart centered about what I actually am looking for and asking for. And then eventually I stop writing altogether, because then I feel like, okay, I got this. Like, I feel super confident in it. My identity feels like, okay, no, I don't have to write it down anymore. It becomes more automatic to who I am, becomes more automatic, and I can feel the alignment happening. And then after that, it's just consistent execution. And that might be a problem where some people get stuck as well. But I do think it's important to not only write it down, allow it to gain clarity over time as you keep writing and keep defining what it is that you want, but also just truly making sure that you're paying attention to everything that happens after you write it down the first time, whether that's your desire changes or that you start changing and you're being guided to go here, do that. It's like, okay. But some things are gonna be like, you want me to do what? You want me to go where? You want me to say what? Or you want me, it could be something random, like changing your hair color, doing your nails different color. Like, it could be anything. And not being not judging what you're being asked to do, because like I said, you don't know where you're going, or you don't know how you're going to get there. And so for you to judge the route doesn't make sense for you to do. And it can be super easy, but sometimes we get in our own way and make things harder than they need to be, as we're consistently sitting there writing it down. But it's like, but you're being resistant to changing this one little thing I said change. Like, you're gonna get the directions and the order of operations if you just execute and stop worrying about if it makes sense or not. Because like I said, if you knew how to get to where you're going, you would already be there. So I feel like somebody needed to hear this. I definitely need to hear it, because, when they say bridge of incidents, sometimes it feels like things happen on accident, and it can. But I would also look more deeper into what that really looks like and the options you are given after you've asked for something. And are you resistant to doing certain things? Are you actually listening? Or are your ears just shut off and you're just waiting for your miracle to happen? And you're like, I'm not changing a thing. I'm just going to sit here and say it all day and visualize it and write it down. But I'm not going to change anything. Like, that can't happen. Unless you're being told to, like, relax a little bit and take a load off and go sleep. That's a part of it too, like I keep saying. But just be aware of, like, what shifts you're being asked to do and try to follow through on them. And if you want to ask, hey, Spirit, why you got me doing this? It's like, I guess just trust at that point. But neither here nor there. Everybody's journey is different. This could be totally hogwash for you, but if you listen this far, then hey, I assume there's something in here for you. But just be aware of what it is that you're being guided to do after you have made your declaration to the universe, because it starts fairly quickly. It's not going to be, or at least for me, let me just speak for myself, because I know if I write it at night, the next day I got, hey, okay, well, this is what you said. And I'm like, wait, hold up. I wasn't ready to do the work, or like, are you sure? Even down to like, take a break, my computer breaks, or the internet stops working. It's like, how's it getting me what I want? It's like, those, I look speechless. I don't know how some things are getting me what I want, but I have to trust that it's for a reason. Everything happens for me, not to me, and everything is to get me to what I want. Or if it's not something that I'm supposed to have, I trust that my desire gets fine-tuned and gets more clarity and becomes more in alignment with my true wants instead of my egoic wants. So one of those two things will happen. Yeah, either the desire will shift or I will shift. Either way, we're getting what we want, and it's fine. Just, it's the awareness piece that we're talking about right now. So I just want to get on and say that real quick, because I think a lot of people can miss the instructions after the declaration of the desire, but then you're going to be writing it down or visualizing all day, every day. Like, we don't have to be stuck in that beginning phase. I think that's just the initiation point. And then then it's up to you to listen and start executing or start allowing or shifting into the identity that's in alignment with that. So that's a little bit of identity talk. Maybe something a little different here, but that was something I felt like needed to be said. So just in case you haven't heard it already. Anyways, yeah.